Hey, hey, everybody, let's have some fun. You only live but once, but when you're dead, you're done. So let the good times roll. Let the good times roll.
Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Martin and welcome to TripleADigest. Now with a full Mafia 1 remake coming on August 28th, 2020, and after replaying the original recently, we decided to put together a small list of what we want from the game. Now outside of obvious suggestions such as keeping the story true to the original and the same characters, etc., because we all know that's already happening. And as always, let us know what you guys want from the game. Here we go. Number 1, Tommy's family relationship. In the original, Tommy Angelo meets Sarah, the daughter of a bartender called Luigi at Solari's bar. There's a mission that revolves around our protagonist helping her home. Tommy protects Sarah from a group of street thugs, and after he is invited into her apartment to help ease his pain from the gang attack, and the two become acquainted. That's one way of putting it. And from that moment on, Tommy realizes she is the woman he wishes to spend his life with, and Sarah is mentioned in multiple scenes by Tommy throughout the game as he struggles to think about what Sarah would think about the life he's currently living within the mob, yet we the player don't see Sarah for the remainder of the game. And what we would like to see with the narrative extension for the remake is this relationship being fleshed out a little more, with extra scenes that explore Tommy's struggles as he attempts to balance his life of a mobster with his family life at home, and explore how that is impacting Tommy's career and life. And fleshing out Sarah and their daughter in general would also provide some extra weight to the events that happen at the end of the game. Number 2, more character dialogue. The 2002 version has a lack of dialogue between characters outside of cutscenes. Interacting with key characters mission to mission, they only really engage in conversation upon arriving at the mission location itself to instruct Tommy and the player on what their objective is. This leaves characters in silence for a good percentage of each journey and forces the game to have an over-reliance on its great soundtrack. And so what we want is more dialogue between Tommy and whomever he's driving to make all the traveling from A to B a little more interesting. Mafia 2 in particular did a great job of this, filling long journeys with conversations, and it's a valuable tool to flesh out characters and further develop their relationship outside of cutscenes. We'd also love to see a larger range of spoken lines from NPCs in the world in general. Learning from Hangar 13's recent work on Mafia 3, enemies had a very limited amount of lines when reacting to the player's actions, and we'd like to see that be addressed with the remake.
Don't step too close. That shit'll swallow your soul.
Don't step too close. That shit'll swallow your soul.
Don't step too close. That shit will swallow your soul.
Number 3, what we would have liked to have seen is some of the key voice actors from the original be given a second chance to return to reprise their roles with more lines and being fleshed out much more than the original. Yet new actors have seemingly been given the opportunity to play the role of key characters in the game. In particular, what we wanted most as fans in terms of voice acting was the return of Michael Cervino, who would reprise his role as Tommy Angelo. Yet sadly, based on his Twitter account, he wasn't approached by Hangar 13 to play Tommy in the remake at all, and based on his response to fans, he seems a little bummed he didn't get the opportunity to play Tommy yet again, but wished the new actor good luck. And despite that, here's hoping we at least get William DeMeo as Polly, who offers, in my opinion, one of the standout performances from the game. Number 4, attention to detail. The original Mafia 1 has a crazy amount of attention to detail scattered throughout the city. It has functional traffic systems, public transport in the form of trains and trams can be used. Tommy can take the time to refuel his car over time, and vehicles have turn signals, manual gear options, and speed limiters. The police system is actually quite sophisticated for a game from 2002. They notice equipped weapons in Tommy's car. If they're near the player, police will chase and pull over the player for breaking speed limits or even ignoring red lights, and they can write up Tommy a fine or outright arrest him if they deem it necessary. They're almost too relentless in the game, and Tommy can do drive-bys shooting from his car, yet can only use his weapon when the angle suits, shooting from the driver's seat. After shooting in general, you'll see bullet casings on the ground. Enemies have different tactics in combat, from getting in cover, finding peeking spots, to outright bum rushing the player, and they can also run out of ammunition, which forces them to swap to different weapons. What we want is all of this attention to detail in the game. Nothing can be left out, yet expand upon it. Number 5, improved melee system. With similar melee weapons from the original already confirmed, such as baseball bats, crowbars, switchblades, even brass knuckles, all having small roles in select missions that provide Tommy with extra options in regard regards to combat outside of ranged weapons. What we'd like to see included in the remake are executions or finishing moves with these melee weapons. That is an option via button prompt only when enemies have very low health, or if Tommy catches them off guard in stealth, which would trigger an animated takedown with that weapon. In addition to that, we'd also like to see a vast improvement to the hand-to-hand system, something similar to Mafia 2 that's a little more tactical, revolves around the player's timing and dodging, with quick and strong attacks used to wear down enemies. Instead of Mafia 3's hold the melee button and release at the perfect time, it was just a little too easy. Number 6, no health regeneration. Now in the original, Tommy had no health regen at all. After the player took significant damage, they're forced to actively think about their approach to combat. This made Mafia 1's combat exchanges much more grueling and tactical than most modern day third-person shooters. The only way to regain some health during each mission was through well-placed first aid kits located on walls throughout each chapter. And what we want for the normal difficulty and beyond to have a similar system and approach to combat. Yes, you can put health regeneration on for easier difficulties. We'd love to see the game remain true to the original in regards to no health regen, because in my opinion at least, it's how the game should be experienced. Number 7, make companion death optional. What was sometimes a stumbling block throughout the original is that Tommy's companions who take part on missions with him at times take rapid damage from enemies, and friendly fire from Tommy can lead to a mission fail. Yeah, that was my bad on that one. Which would force the player to restart from a recent checkpoint, and on some occasions, this feature makes missions much more intense as you have to rush to protect an ally from harm. Yet on the other side, it can often be extremely frustrating. Allies can die so easily, and sometimes the player has no chance to prevent it as they just leg it into danger. So what we want is an option to turn companion damage on for fans of the original, and off if it becomes an issue for players. It'll probably be turned off regardless because games have been massively streamlined, but we thought it was worth mentioning. Number 8, learning from Mafia 3's out-of-place gameplay features. So this point relates more so to Hangar 13 and small features they included with Mafia 3 that for me didn't exactly fit this series. With Mafia 1, don't overly modernize the game's HUD or include mission indicators with colourful mission objectives popping on screen. Keep it more simple and befitting of the game's timeline. Do not give Tommy the overpowered ability to whistle or stealth through levels so easily, as it further highlights poor enemy AI behaviour. And I'm not hating on Mafia 3, stealth in games is just difficult to pull off without making your enemies look like complete idiots. Lose the enhanced vision mechanic that allows our protagonist to see enemies through walls, and do not include the slow down time abilities when shooting and driving, which are cool features but simply don't fit the Mafia series. Keep Mafia 1 grounded as an out and out third person shooter and leave all these out of place features behind. Number 9, random events and minigames. So 2 small ideas. Solari's bar, for one, has a pool table that is literally right in your face every time you enter and leave the bar, which could make for an optional minigame and activity outside of the story, playing against different mobsters that are situated there. Also, the addition of a lockpicking minigame would be beneficial to make breaking into Ralph's cars and vehicles throughout the city more fun, instead of simply holding the button until it's unlocked. And the game has some missable random world events that take place during specific chapters, such as a man threatening to jump from a bridge. We'd like to see more world building throughout the city, with events like this that provide small stories for the player to find when they're exploring. Number 10, so the number one thing we want for the Mafia 1 remake is minimal bugs at release. With every open world game that comes out, it's fair to expect a few bugs, but please, no game breaking issues or major glitches that allow for montages of funny Mafia bugs on YouTube. Don't do that to us again, please. So yeah, launching a buggy remake of a beloved game like Mafia 1, it would be too tough to take, so what we want is a complete and well-running Mafia game over everything on August 28th. Now, before this video gets too long, here are some honourable mentions. Number 1, free upgrade to next gen if it happens. Number 2, include guard dogs yet again that protect specific properties. Number 3, more difficulty modes to choose from, including an original difficulty option for the legendary track race, so new players to the series can suffer as we did. And it would actually make for a great achievement or trophy. Number 4, add some collectibles in the game. Include clothing stores, more garages, and gun stores that allow Tommy to purchase different items for himself or customize his car to some extent. Number 6, enterable restaurants in which our protagonist can buy food to regain some health if it's needed on the way to missions. Number 7, better autosaves and checkpoints for certain chapters. But what do you guys want from Mafia 1, the remake. Let us know, we're eager to hear your thoughts, and we may even use them for a part 2 of this, who knows. But yeah, that is it for now. Mafia 1, the remake, releases August 28th, 2020 for Xbox One, PS4 and PC. And for more content like this, stay tuned here on AAA Digest if you want. Bye bye guys.
Is everything excellent?